How did sailors sleep on Viking ships during harsh winters at sea? 2 hours of relaxing history. Hello guys, today we will know about how ordinary people lived, worked, and rested long ago. Tonight we move slowly into the far north of Europe. To a Viking harbor town during the early medieval age. And then onward, gently, into the cold sea of winter. This narration is meant to help you relax, to quiet the mind, and to fall asleep. We begin in the Viking Age, around the 9th century. In a coastal town such as Hedeby, or Birka, or Kaupang. These towns sit where land meets water. Protected bays, shallow rivers, narrow inlets. The sea is always close, always present. It is late in the year. Autumn has faded. Winter has settled fully. The days are short. The nights long and heavy. Fog drifts in from the water. It clings to the wooden piers. To the hulls of ships pulled close together. The air smells of salt, fish, smoke, and wet wood. Everything feels damp and cold. The streets of the town are narrow. Packed earth mixed with stone and planks. Muddy when thawed. Hard as iron when frozen. People walk carefully here. There are no wide roads. No straight lines. Paths wind between houses and workshops. They follow the land. And the habits of many years. At night, small lamps burn near doorways. Simple flames fed with oil or fat. They give little light. Just enough to guide familiar steps. Shadows fill the rest. Houses stand close together. Low and long. Built of timber frames, turf walls, and clay. Roofs are heavy with sod or thatch. Pressed down by frost and snow. Inside, space is tight. One main room holds everything. Sleeping, eating, working, resting. A hearth burns at the center. If fuel can be spared. The fire is never large in winter. Wood must last. Driftwood, brush, dried roots. Everything that can burn is used carefully. Warmth is precious. Smoke curls upward. It escapes through a hole in the roof. The air inside is thick. Eyes sting slightly. But the heat is welcome. Families gather close to the fire. Parents. Children. Sometimes grandparents. Sometimes animals as well. Everyone shares warmth. Beds are simple. Raised wooden platforms. Or benches along the walls. Covered with straw. And animal skins. Woolen blankets are heavy and rough. But they hold heat. People sleep close together. Bodies touching. This is how they stay warm. Meals are plain. Bread made from barley or rye. Dense and dark. Eaten slowly. Often dipped into broth or porridge. Porridge is common. Grain boiled in water or milk. Sometimes flavored with herbs. Sometimes with nothing at all. It fills the stomach and warms the body. Meat is rare in winter. A little dried fish. Salted lamb or pork. Perhaps a bone in the pot. Used again and again. Vegetables are simple. Cabbage. Turnips. Onions. Stored carefully through the cold months. Clothing is thick and worn. Wool tunics layered over one another. Leg wraps tied tightly. Cloaks fastened with simple pins. Everything shows signs of repair. No cloth is wasted. Holes are patched. Edges are reinforced. Garments are passed down from parent to child. Children rise early, even in winter. They help fetch water, break ice at the well, carry small loads of wood. They tend animals kept near the house. Goats, sheep, chickens. Their warmth is useful too. There are no formal schools. Learning happens through watching, through doing, through listening to elders by the fire. Stories carry knowledge. Some men work as craftsmen, blacksmiths, carpenters, boat builders. Their workshops stand near their homes. Smoke rises steadily from them. The smith's fire glows brightly. A welcome sight in winter. Hammer strikes ring softly. Measured and patient. Iron is shaped with care. Tools are repaired rather than replaced. Axes. Knives. Nails. Everything must last. Women spin wool. Hands moving rhythmically. Thread forms slowly. Clothing for the coming months. Work never truly stops. The market is quieter now. Fewer traders arrive in winter. But some exchange continues. Furs. Iron goods. Dried fish. Small carts move through the town. Pulled by sturdy horses. Wheels creak in the cold. Loads are light. Progress is slow. As evening comes, doors close early. Shutters are fastened. The town grows quiet. Only the sound of the sea remains. Soft and constant. But not all people stay ashore. Some prepare for the sea. Sailors. Traders. Messengers. Winter travel is dangerous, yet sometimes necessary. The ships lie ready in the harbor. Long and narrow. Built of overlapping wooden planks. Sealed with tar and wool. Flexible, not heavy. There are no cabins. No sheltered rooms. Only open deck. Benches for rowing. A mast rising at the center. Sailors gather quietly. They speak little. Their faces are calm. They know what waits beyond the harbor. Cold, wind, and darkness. They wear layers of wool. Cloaks of thick cloth. Some lined with fur. Leather shoes stiff with damp. Nothing is truly dry. Each man brings few belongings. A blanket. An animal skin. A wooden bowl. Perhaps a small charm. Nothing more. When the ship pushes away from the pier, the town fades quickly. Lights disappear. Smoke thins. Soon there is only water and sky. The sea in winter is dark. Gray beneath gray clouds. Waves move steadily. Not loud, but persistent. The cold cuts deeply. Wind presses against the sail. Ropes hum softly. Spray freezes on the sides of the ship. Hands grow numb. Work continues anyway. Sailors take turns at the oars. Movement keeps blood flowing. Stillness brings cold. Every task has a rhythm. The ship moves forward patiently. When night falls at sea, there is no shelter. No walls to hold warmth. Only cloaks and skins. And bodies close together. Sailors sleep on the benches. The same benches used for rowing. They curl inward. Wrap cloaks over their heads. and rest as they can. Sleep comes in short moments. Never deep. Never long. One man rests while another watches. Then they change places. The sail is lowered when weather allows. The mast creaks softly. Ice forms along ropes. Hands work slowly, carefully. No sudden movements. Food aboard is simple and cold. Hard bread. Dried fish. Sometimes cheese. Eaten without ceremony. Chewed slowly. Water is stored in casks. Protected from freezing. Watched carefully. Life depends on it. No one forgets this. Blankets grow damp from spray. Skins smell of salt. Nothing dries fully. Comfort is limited. Endurance becomes habit. When storms come, sleep nearly disappears. Men brace themselves against the motion. Hands grip wood. Bodies move with the ship. Eyes close only briefly. But between storms. Between watches. There are quieter hours. The sea smooths slightly. The ship glides onward. In these moments, sailors rest more fully. Breathing slows. Muscles relax a little. Dreams come and go quickly. Fragments only. They dream of hearth fires. Of low houses. Of familiar voices. Of still air and dry ground. Dreams are gentle, not grand. Hair stiffens with salt. Beards hold frost. Faces are weathered. Yet sleep still finds them. Even here. Dawn arrives slowly at sea. A pale light spreads along the horizon. Men stir. Stretch cramped limbs. Rub warmth back into their hands. Someone eats bread. Someone swallows water. No one speaks much. The work resumes. Oars dip again. Far away, the town wakes once more. Fires are stirred. Children fetch water. Smoke rises into cold air. Life continues there as well. Old people sit near the hearth. Hands folded. Watching the flames. They speak softly. Or not at all. They think briefly of those at sea. Then return to their tasks. Winter teaches focus on the present. Worry does not warm the body. Work must continue. As night returns on the water. Cold deepens again. Stars appear and fade. Sailors huddle closer. Sharing warmth as before. Sleep returns in fragments. Wrapped in wool and skin. Rocked by motion. Accompanied by the sound of waves. Soft and endless. The sea does not hurry. Neither does the ship. Winter travel is slow. Measured by endurance. Not by distance alone. When land finally appears. Low and dark on the horizon. Relief is quiet. Men prepare without excitement. Habit guides them. The ship finds shelter in a fjord or river mouth. Oars are lifted. Lines secured. Movement slows. Silence returns. On shore, fires wait. Low houses. The smell of smoke and earth. Dry straw. Still air. But the memory of winter nights at sea remains. Of sleeping beneath open sky. Of sharing warmth with others. Of resting when possible. And enduring when not. And as the sailors step back onto land. As the ship rests at last. The cold still lingers. Winter is not finished. But rest comes easier now. The past settles gently here. Among hearths and harbor water. Among wool and wood. Among breath and quiet. Slow enough for sleep. And as this telling drifts onward, like a ship on dark water, may your thoughts soften. May your breathing slow. And may rest come quietly. As it did, long ago, for those who slept beneath winter skies and open seas. The night continues over the northern sea. Dark and wide. The horizon disappears completely. Water and sky become one. Only motion remains. The ship moves steadily through the swell. Wood bends and responds. Never fighting the waves. Only yielding. Only enduring. Sailors adjust their cloaks again. Wool pulled higher. Fur turned inward. Hands tucked beneath arms. Every small gesture matters. The cold here is different from land. It comes from below as well as above. From water that never sleeps. It rises through the hull. Settling into bones. A man curls tighter on his bench. Knees drawn close. Back against the wood. He feels the slow rhythm of the ship. It rocks him gently. Sleep arrives without warning. Not deep. Not long. Just enough to rest the mind. Just enough to continue. Another sailor notices his breathing change. Knows his watch is ending. They trade places quietly. No words needed. Only understanding. The one now awake stares into darkness. Eyes adjusting. Listening to the sea. The sound is constant. Almost soothing. Water brushes the hull. A soft, repeating whisper. Not loud. Not violent. Just present. Like breath. Above, clouds move slowly. Sometimes parting. Stars appear faintly. Then vanish again. Light is never certain here. Time loses its shape. There are no bells. No clear hours. Only watches and rest. Measured by fatigue. Far away, beneath this same sky. The harbor town sleeps. Houses hold what warmth they can. Fires burn low. People dream of nothing in particular. A child turns in sleep. Wrapped in wool. Face close to the hearth. Unaware of the sea. Unaware of distance. An old man coughs softly. Then settles again. The sound fades into smoke and shadow. The house remains still. Winter holds gently. Back at sea, the cold sharpens again. Wind shifts slightly. The sail flutters. Then steadies. Ropes creak in reply. Hands move automatically. Trained by repetition. By many journeys. Even tired fingers remember. What must be done? Food is passed quietly. A piece of bread. Hard and dark. Broken by hand. Shared without comment. Someone chews slowly. Jaw aching from cold. The taste is plain. But it fills the body. Enough for now. Water is sipped carefully. Not too much. Not too little. Casks are checked again. Always watched. The night stretches onward. Longer than expected. Winter nights often do. Sleep comes and goes. Never settling fully. A sailor dreams briefly. Of a low doorway. Of stepping inside from snow. Of steam rising from a pot. The dream fades quickly. He wakes with the movement of the ship. Cold returning at once. He does not mind. This is familiar. This is how it is. The sea carries many such nights. Layered one upon another. Each similar. Each endured. Together forming memory. Dawn approaches slowly. So slowly it is almost missed. A slight lightening of darkness. Nothing more. But it is enough. Men notice without speaking. Bodies respond instinctively. Postures shift. Eyes blink more often. Morning nears. When the light finally shows itself. Pale and weak. It touches the edges of waves. Makes them visible again. Gray upon gray. The night's cold lingers. But it has lost some strength. Movement returns more easily. Hands obey more readily. Another cycle begins. Oars are dipped again. Water parts quietly. The ship continues onward. Patient. Unhurried. Far behind them. The town wakes fully now. Smoke rises thicker. Children move about their tasks. Winter life resumes. And far ahead. Land waits. Not promised. But hoped for. Quietly imagined. Between these places. Between hearth and harbor. Between night and day. The sailors continue. Sleeping when they can. Wrapped in wool. Curled against the cold. Rocked by the sea's endless motion. Their rest is never deep. But it is enough. And as the ship moves onward. As the water whispers alongside. As breath slows once more. The past drifts gently. Carrying all with it. Toward rest. The morning settles gently over the sea. Not bright. Not warm. Only lighter than before. A thin veil of gray replaces the dark. The ship continues its steady motion. Wood flexing with each wave. The hull creaks softly. A familiar sound. One that brings a quiet comfort. Sailors move slowly now. Limbs stiff from cold and rest. They stretch without words. Rub hands together. Breath fogs the air. One man adjusts the sail. Another checks the lines. Movements are careful. Deliberate. Nothing is rushed. The sea remains calm for the moment. Long swells rise and fall. Not threatening. Just persistent. Like time itself. A sailor sits on his bench. Chewing a piece of bread. Hard and tasteless. Yet welcome. It gives strength for the hours ahead. Nearby, another pours a little water. He drinks slowly. Mindful of every swallow. The cask is sealed again. Nothing is wasted. The cold still presses from all sides. From the air. From the sea beneath. It settles into joints and bones. But the body learns to bear it. As the light grows, the sky remains low. Clouds hang heavy. Gray upon gray. The sun is only a suggestion. Hidden somewhere beyond sight. The ship feels small beneath that sky. A narrow shape on endless water. Yet it holds. It always has. Built for this movement. Sailors trust the ship. More than words. More than promises. Trust earned through long nights. And many winters. They know where to place their feet. How to brace their bodies. When to lean. When to yield. Knowledge held in muscle and bone. As the hours pass, fatigue returns. Not sudden. But gradual. Like a slow tide. Pulling strength away. One by one, men take brief rest. Curling beneath cloaks. Pulling skins close. Sleep returns in fragments. Short and shallow. A sailor dreams again. Of a low house near the shore. Smoke rising straight into cold air. The sound of a door closing. The dream dissolves quietly. He wakes to the sound of water. Always the water. Brushing the hull. Never stopping. Never silent. Far away, on land, life moves at its own pace. Fields lie frozen. Animals are fed. Fires are kept alive. Winter holds everyone equally. In the harbor town, women spin wool. Men mend nets. Children carry small bundles. All within reach of warmth. All close to the hearth. They speak softly. Save their strength. Winter teaches restraint. Even words are measured. Nothing is wasted. Back at sea, clouds begin to shift. Wind changes direction slightly. The sail tightens. Ropes hum in response. The ship adjusts without complaint. A watchful sailor notices first. He signals with a small motion. Others respond immediately. No voices raised. Only action. The sea darkens again. Not with fear. But with weight. Waves grow taller. Still controlled. Still steady. Sleep becomes more difficult now. Bodies remain alert. Hands grip wood more firmly. Eyes stay open longer. The ship demands attention. Yet even here. Even in rising motion. Moments of rest appear. Between tasks. Between breaths. A sailor leans against the mast. Eyes closing briefly. His body sways with the ship. Balance learned over years. Sleep and waking blur together. The cold numbs sensation slowly. Pain dulls. Thoughts soften. The world narrows to movement and breath. Nothing else matters. As afternoon approaches. Light remains weak. Winter days are short. The sun never climbs high. It lingers, then fades. Men eat again. Another piece of bread. Another bite of dried fish. Chewed slowly. Shared quietly. The taste is always the same. Plain. Reliable. Enough to keep going. Enough to last. The sea does not change its rhythm. Neither does the ship. Together they move forward. Hour by hour. Without urgency. As the light begins to fail once more. Sailors prepare for night. Sail lowered if weather allows. Cloaks tightened. Skins arranged again. Night at sea arrives gently. No sudden darkness. Just a slow deepening. Edges soften. Details fade. Stars appear briefly. Then hide behind cloud. The sky remains distant. Unconcerned. Unreachable. Men settle into their places. On benches. Near the mast. Along the sides. Wherever there is space. Sleep returns as it did before. In pieces. In pauses. Never complete. But always enough to continue. The ship rocks steadily. A familiar motion now. Almost comforting. Like a cradle made of wood and water. Holding tired bodies. Breath slows again. Wrapped in wool. Wrapped in shared endurance. Each man carried by the same rhythm. The rhythm of the sea. And as another winter night unfolds. Quiet and unbroken. The sailors rest as they can. Between cold and motion. Between waking and sleep. Enduring gently. The night deepens further over the northern waters. Darkness surrounds the ship completely. Even the faint glimmer of stars is mostly hidden. Only the sound of the sea remains. Soft, persistent, steady. The ship rocks slowly. Rises and falls with each wave. Wood groaning ever so slightly. The motion is familiar. It is both constant and reassuring. Sailors curl into their cloaks. Bodies pressed against each other for warmth. Hands tucked under arms. Heads resting on bundled skins. Sleep comes in short fragments. One man dreams briefly. Of smoke rising from a small hearth. Of the smell of bread baking slowly. Of warm air pressing against chilled skin. The dream is gentle. It fades quickly. Another stirs. Adjusts a cloak. Shifts slightly on the bench. Eyes close again. Sleep returns without effort. The wind hums softly through ropes and rigging. A distant wave brushes the hull. The creak of the wood is steady. Steady enough to lull the mind. Steady enough to encourage rest. Time becomes meaningless at sea. No bells. No town clocks. Only the rhythm of rowing. Only the rhythm of waves. Only the slow, careful movement of bodies. Water glistens faintly in the dim light. Each swell catches what little illumination exists. It moves forward, endlessly. The horizon blends into sky. Everything softens. Men take turns watching. Some sit quietly. Others lie down for a moment of sleep. No one complains. No one speaks unnecessarily. Evening meals are simple. Hard bread broken by hand. Dried fish chewed slowly. A sip of water. Sustenance for another watch. The cold penetrates through layers of wool. Through furs. Through leather. Bones and muscles grow stiff. But endurance has been learned. It is natural now, almost unnoticed. A distant gull cries faintly. Then silence returns. The sound vanishes over the waves. The ship rocks steadily. Sleep returns once more. Hands grip the oars lightly when needed. Rest when not. Motion becomes automatic. Bodies respond before thought. The ship and sailors move as one. The sky shifts slowly above. Clouds drift without urgency. Sometimes revealing a pale star. Sometimes hiding it again. The night feels endless, yet calm. Even the ship seems to breathe. Wood expanding and contracting. Ropes tightening and loosening. A rhythm as natural as the sailor's own heartbeat. A rhythm that soothes the mind. Occasionally, a sailor dreams of home. The low hum of a hearth. A familiar doorway. A fire crackling gently. Dreams are short, but comforting. Eyes close without effort. Muscles relax when possible. The cold is constant. Yet bodies adjust. Sleep is intermittent, but present. The ship continues slowly. Endless waves pushing and pulling. No hurry. No complaint. Only endurance. Only motion. In the distant town, life goes on quietly. Hearths burn low. Families gather close. Children sleep near the warmth. The rhythm of life continues ashore. Women spin wool by firelight. Men mend tools and nets. Animals huddle for warmth. Everything moves slowly, deliberately. Winter demands patience. Back at sea, the ship faces another long night. Sailors adjust their positions. Cloaks drawn tight. Skins tucked close. Sleep comes in fragments. The sea whispers against the hull. Ropes hum softly in the cold wind. The ship rocks gently. Each motion familiar, reassuring. Carrying men through the night. Fatigue settles deep. Limbs ache. Yet sleep returns repeatedly. Short, shallow, enough to continue. Enough to endure. The horizon remains distant. The sky dark. Clouds drifting. Occasional stars flicker. A small light in the vast gray. Men breathe evenly. Wrapped in wool, pressed against skins. Sharing warmth without words. Silent, steady. Resting as much as the sea allows. Dawn approaches imperceptibly. A soft light diffuses across water. Not bright. Not warm. Only a hint, a gentle change. Enough to signal the passing of hours. The ship rocks steadily onward. Oars dip rhythmically. Ropes hum softly. Wood groans in response. The cold remains, but bodies adjust. Sailors rise slowly. Limbs stiff. Hands rubbed for warmth. Eyes blink against pale light. Morning has come quietly. They eat again. Hard bread. Dried fish. A sip of water. Nourishment for the next hours. Even at dawn, sleep is precious. Taken in fragments. Curled beneath cloaks. Pressed close to others. Gentle rest in a harsh world. The ship glides across gray water. Endless, calm, patient. Men adapt. Bodies and minds finding rhythm. The sea teaches endurance. And as another long day passes, the cold persists. The horizon remains distant. Yet sleep and rest continue. Quiet, intermittent, steady, enduring. The rhythm of waves. The rocking of wood. The whisper of ropes. All carry men forward. Slowly, gently, through winter nights. This quiet, enduring life. Fragmented sleep. Steady movement. Careful attention. This is how sailors lived. Wrapped in wool. Curled against cold. Rocked by the endless sea. Resting when possible. Enduring always. And as night falls once more, the ship rocks steadily. Men drift into short sleep. The rhythm continues. And calm carries them quietly through the darkness.